Welcome to this introductory course for Apache Solr. This course will help anybody to learn about Apache Solr. By end of this course, you will have very good understanding of Apache Solr and you will also get hands-on experience how we can implement search in Solr. What would we cover in this course? Introduction to Apache Solr, Apache Solr features, how we can install and run Apache Solr locally in our machine, hands-on search implementation. In this section, we will get understand what is Apache Solr. Apache Solr is an open source enterprise search platform. It's a Java-based application that uses Apache Lucene internally. Apache Lucene is Java-based open source search library. Lucene provides powerful indexing and search features, as well as spell checking and advanced analysis like tokenization capability, etc. Solar provides REST API like for searching as well as indexing. It provides data in various formats like JSON, XML, CSV, or binary. You can query it via HTTP GET method and you can receive the data in the format which you require, either JSON, XML, or CSV, and binary results. There are hundreds of features that make Solar incredibly versatile. I will cover high-level features in this course. Solar enables powerful matching capability, including phrases, wildcards, joins, grouping, and much more across any data types. It provides full text search capability as well as tokenized search capability. That means you can search, let's say you want to search this word, search. We can specify only first three letters. It will search all the uh, it will search only all those records which match first three letters. Solar is highly reliable software. So how we can define reliability of a software? The reliability of software is the probability of failure free software operations for a specific period of time in specified environment. Solar is optimized for high volume traffic. It can handle high volume data. It's a highly scalable system. It builds on Apache Ukeeper, which is another open source system to manage and monitor nodes. Ukeeper is a distributed coordination service to manage large set of hosts. It coordinates and manages a distributed environment. What is fault tolerance? Fault tolerance refers to the ability of a system to continue operating without interruption when one or more of its components fail. It provides Solar provide fault tolerant capability out of the box. Before going to distributed indexing, we need to understand what is indexing in search. Indexing is the process by which search engines organize information before a search to enable super fast responses to queries. So what is distributed indexing? Distributed indexing is like we have multiple machines or multiple threads. indexing at same time in multiple nodes. The distributed indexing is used to improve the speed while and also improve storage size. You can imagine we have large volume of data set, we want to index it. If we index only on one server, it will be slow. So we can distribute the indexing so that in future we can easily search it. Solr provide capability of near real-time indexing. Means let's suppose one user is indexing some data in Solr and another user is searching the same data at the same time. So that is possible in Solr. Solr provides replication and load balancing as well. So why we need replication? Let's say you have large search volume which one machine cannot handle. If you have only one machine running, if you put a request to search something and similarly parallelly the same machine is also indexing it, then search would be slower. In that scenario, your application is very helpful. Solr replicates the copy of data in another machines across multiple machines as read-only copies. So if somebody search it, the request will be handled by another server. Meantime, indexing will be happen by another server. Solr also provide load balancing. Load balancing distributes request processing all across multiple servers. It provides automated failover and recovery mechanism also. So what is the failover mechanism? The failover mechanism redirect requests to alternate servers if the original requested server is unable to process that request or it's very slow. So in that case, failover comes into picture. If you are worried about data loss, and of course you should be, you need a way to back up your Solr indexes so that you can recover quickly in case of failure. In that scenario, recovery mechanism will work. Solr provide two approaches to backup and restoring Solr codes or collections, depending on how you're running Solr. If you run Solr in Solr cloud mode, you will use the collection API. If you run it in standalone mode, you will use the application handler. Solr provides capability to store configuration in centralized location. This is achieved by using Ukeeper. So that's all about features. In this slide, we will go through how we can install and run Solr in local machine. First, we can download Apache Solr. We can go to the official Apache Solr website. I will show you. So this is official Apache Solr website. The different versions are available. So the latest version is Solr 8.7.0 and there are different distribution version available like binary release, source release. We can download zip release. So once it's downloaded, then we can install it in window machine. The installation is very simple. I will show you. I have downloaded this version in this is zip version. I can just right click on it and unzip it. Now it's installed. So basically it's a binary version. We don't have executable. We can just unzip it. That's it. So once we install the Solr version, now how we can start Solr server? There are commands available in Solr under bin folder. We can use start command to start a server. We can use stop command to stop a server. Let's see these commands practically. So this is a location where we unzip it. We need to go to bin location. We can just open the command prompt. If you see in this bin location, we have two files. One is Solr wet file, which is used for Windows. Another one is Solr shell script file, which will be used to start server on start or stop server on Unix or Linux machine. We will use Windows version. So we can type this Solr start -e DIH. DIH is nothing but data import handler. We are starting Solr using this command. The server will be started in few seconds. The server is started. Let's validate it using Solr web interface. We can just go to the browser and type localhost. Port number is 89883. So that is default port. If you see here, the Solr server has been started. So this is a web interface for Solr server and have a dash. It has a dashboard, logging, which is used for monitoring and troubleshooting issues. It has a core admin where we can add cores, manage core, and we have thread dumps that are used for analysis. If some errors happen, we can analyze it. Then we have core selector. Under core selector, these are default cores which come inbuilt in Solr. We can create our core. So what is core? A Solr core is a running instance of Lucene index that contain all the Solr configuration files required to use it. We need to create a core to perform operations like indexing and searching. A Solr application can contain one or more cores. Now let's go back to command prompt. We want to stop the server. We can run this command Solr stop, then -p, p for port number. We need to give port number 8983. It will stop in few seconds. We can validate it by refreshing this again page, Solr web page. Yeah, so we can see the server has been stopped. Now let's go back to our slides. So we have completed this section. Now let's move to the next section. In this section, we will create one application. It would be hand-on implementation. So in this hand-on implementation, we will index customers table data into Solr core using data import handler. We need to follow some steps. The first step would be we need to create a customer data. in database. We can use any database. I'm using MySQL. After that, we will see how we can create a Solr core. Then we have to add database connection and document entity in Solr configuration file. Then we need to add Solr configuration. The next step would we need to add Solr fields in manage schema. So these fields are actual field which we can search. Then we can index customer data using Solr web interface. And the final step would be we can search a customer. Now let's get started. The first step is we need to create customer data in database. So we can create example schema, then we can create a customer table, then we can insert customer data in table. So let's see it practically. I have already SQL Server is running. If you see in this, if I run this query, if you see these are the existing databases, there's no customer databases. So first step is I need to create database. The database has been created. We can validate it using this show databases command. Oh, there's some issue. It's not created. Let me. Yeah, now it's created. Yeah, we can see customer database. The next step is we need to create a table. We will create a customer table. I already have a SQL query to create a customer table. I will just run that directly. So in this table, we have 4 fields: ID, which is primary key, then first name, last name, and email ID. We can just run this query. Yeah, we can check now the table has been created or not. So the table has not been created because the first step is we need to use the customer database. Then only, now we are in customer database. Now I can again rerun this query. Now the query is successful. We can check using this command show tables. Yeah, the customer table has been created. Now we need to insert data into this table. I already created some insert statements. I can directly run these statements. So I've inserted 4 records into customer table. Let's see. Yeah, so the 4 record has been inserted. So our first steps has been completed. Let's go back to our slides. The next step is we need to create a core. So there are 2 ways we can create a Solr core: using Solr web interface, or the second way using command line. So I will show you command line option as well as web interface, but I will use only command line. Before that, first I need to start the Solr server because it stopped. Yeah, the Solr server has been started. Yeah, so through web interface, we can go to core admin, we can click on add core, and we can give core name, instant directory, and by default, these files will be created. So that is the one way. The other way is through command line. I will use command line. For command line, we can use this command. Under win, we can just run this command solr create -c and core name. We can create, give any name. I've given customer. The core has been created. We can validate it into UI. We can go and refresh this page. You see here, the customer is created. So this is the core where we will index customer data. Now before indexing data, let's go to in the background what has happened. So the Solr we are using, we have started Solr using data import handler mode. So we need to go to these folders. So under this folder, we have this customer core is created, the one which we created through command. This is the existing core. This is the one which we created through command line. If I go inside, it has these two folder and file. Config folder contain all the configuration file for Solr. Data folder contain the data once we index it. And the core is nothing but its property file. It just store the core name, whatever we given. So if we go to config folder, if you see by default these files has been created. It has Solr config, manage schema. We will come to these files later on. Let's go back to the slides again. Now core has been created. The next step is we need to add database connection and entity. So that we can add in dv data config file. If you see, if you already I show you in config folder, this file does not exist. We need to create this file. And this file contain two information. One is database driver detail and connection detail. And the second is document entity. Document entity is nothing but a table or SQL query in database. Solr system use document everywhere, even for tax. Anything but we store in index in Solr, it treat as a document. So let's see what are the entries. These are the entry. If I go back to config, there's no not this one. There's no dv config file. We need to copy that. Either we can manually create it. I already created it. I will copy from here into this location. Then we can go over this file. So what entries this file contain? Two sections. One is database driver details and the other one is document and entity. In our case, we are using MySQL driver. We specify the class name and the URL of MySQL. It's a connection URL. We're using example database. We given this here, and the username, it's a default root, and we don't have password. I just keep it empty. So this is database connection detail. The next section is document. Under document, there's entity. Entity is nothing but table. So we have given its name customer, and this is a query which load the data from database, and this is delta query. Delta query is nothing but identify if something's changed when the last data is indexed. After that, if something's changed, it will pull all those details. And inside that, we define mapping between database field names as well as Solr. So the field column, this is database column first name, and the next name, first name is a Solr field name where the data is indexed. Once this query is run, it will copy first name from DB into this field name, last name from this column to this field name, and the email to email ID. So this is the DB data config file look like. So we have completed this section. Let's move to the next step. The next step is we need to add Solr configuration. In order to handle the request for data import, we need to add request handler in Solr config.xml file. So this is the syntax to add a request handler into Solr config. If you look into that, it has a request handler, the name is data import, and the class. This is the class, Solr class, which import the data. And then inside that, we define configuration, where we give the configuration file name. So system knows, Solr know where he need to go to make DB connection and what data he needs to pull. So that configuration we need to define into the Solr config.xml file. Let's see how the Solr config file look like. This file is by default is created by Solr once we create a core. So this is the default file. Once we create a code, so command line, this file is by default is created. If I search in this file for request handler, you will find some default handler which already exist. These are the default handler already added. We need to add our handler. So I can just make entry here. You can make entry anywhere. I just keeping under the request handler. I can copy that detail from another file which I already created. I can just copy this section into that file. So our request handler has been completed. Now we need to go back to slides. The next step is we need to add Solr fields in manage schema. So there are two steps. First, we need to define index field names. So index field name is nothing but Solr index field name, which we define in earlier we defined in DB data config file. And the input type, what are the input type for those fields, whether it's integer, string, boolean, anything, we can specify that. And the next is we need to define Solr attributes. So let's look into this. So this is the structure of how we can add Solr fields in manage schema. In the first, we have field name, ID, and then type is data type string. Then we have attribute Solr attribute which is indexed, is true. We want to index that data. And we have another attribute stored. We want to store this also. And required is true. This is mandatory one. It's a primary key. Is it multi-valued? It's false. Multi-value is nothing but it's a list. If it's a list, we can say true. Since it's a single ID, we can say it false. And similarly, we define other fields like first name, last name, email ID. So these are the field which initially we defined. We did a config file. We just put into Solr manage schema file. Let's see. Let's add it in Solr manage schema. So this is default manage schema. If I search for ID field in this, I can found ID field. It's a default field already exists in this one. We need to add another 3 fields, missing fields. I can copy those fields from my existing sample. So we have defined the fields, Solr fields in this manage schema. All these fields are database fields, which we define in earlier in dbconfig file. Let me show you dbconfig file which we created earlier. If you see here, we have these fields. So this is db column name, this is Solr field name. If I go back to our manage schema, so if you see here, the first name is camel case. It's just Solr field which we define in db manage schema. In its data type is string, index on true or false, store true false. We want to index that. So now this step has been completed. Let's go to the next step. Now we have to index customer data using Solr web interface. So there are 2 ways to index data in Solr. One way is through web interface, other through API call. Here I'm just showing you how we can index through web interface. We have 2 commands: full data import, incremental data import. Full data import everything from database. Incremental data import, do only delta import, means anything's change. Let's say so you have customer table, you want to index everything, then you can run full data import, but after half an hour only one record has been updated, you want to import only that record and don't want to do full import. In that case, you can use incremental import. So we can see it in UI. So before that, I need to stop and start the server, because you have noticed I have made configuration changes. In order to those configuration become active, I need to first stop the server and then start again. If you see here, there's error occurred. Because of this error, Solr core is not up. So what is the exception? We can check in the log also. If I click on this, You're saying customer is not available due to init failure, error loading class, data import handler. So basically it's unable to find this class. The reason why all these library are by default available under distribution folder, under root and distribution. If you see here, this is data import handler, but our core is inside examples, so it's unable to find this library. If we want to include this library in the class path, we have to change the config file. So in this config file, I can search for library. I can found these inbuilt already commented out tags. I can open one of them. I'm removing this regular expression because regular expression, if we keep this one, it will include only the jars which are matching with this expression, but I want to include everything. I just remove it. Since I make the changes, I need to restart the server again. I need to stop first. It will take a few seconds. Yeah, I think it's up. Let's see. We need to refresh the page again. If you see here, there's no error. That means our core is up. We can see core here. Now we have make all the required changes. Let's go back to slide. The next step is we need to index this customer data. Let's do it. If you see here customer, it has some statistics which shows number of document 0. There's no document currently indexed. We can index it using data import. So earlier in the slide I've shown you there's two options, full import and delta import. We will run full import. You can also see other options like clean, commit. Commit is just nothing but it's commit the data once we import it. And clean, what it does, if I enable this checkbox, it will first delete all the indexes and then create new indexes. So this option we should check only if we are sure that nobody is using the application. In production environment, we should avoid this option. What happens sometime the customer is doing some operations. If we want to add new data, if we check this box, it will clean everything and add new indexes. And it will take some time to index it also. So seems like nothing happened. There's some issues there. Let's check the logs. The query has run, but nothing has indexed. That means there's some issue with our query. We can check the query here. We need to double check with the database. What database we have created? We have created because examples database. Inside examples we have customer table. If I run this query, I can trouble this issue, whether there is some issue with query or not. The table data is there. The column names also matching. So let's see in the logs. We can check in the logs also what happened. So all the logs has been created in this location. Okay, so there's nothing happened because our Solar is unable to load the driver, MySQL driver. That's the reason it's unable to index it. We need to add this driver library in the class path. Then only it will able to run it. In order to do it, we can go back to our Solar core. We can just create here library folder and copy the SQL driver that I think I already have copied. You can download from internet. Once I copied it, I need to restart the server so that it take effect. Yeah, server is up now. Let's verify it. Yeah, the code is up. We can try again, reindex the data. Seems like nothing happened. So let's see again. There's some issue might be there. I can just, instead of here, I can go to main page and refresh it again. It might be taking cache, browser cache. Okay, still, let's see the log again. Unknown database examples. Okay, so now the database connection is completed. If see, we are getting some this error. So it's going using examples as a short name. We need to double check it. Our SQL query is wrong. Examples. Okay, so we are using wrong database name. That's the reason. We have created a customer database, but we're using examples database. I need to change the query. Since I changed the query, I need to restart the server. Yeah, so this time you see here for document has been indexed. So now the data has been indexed. We can go to the next step. Now we can search customer. The two way we can search customer uh, using Solr web interface or either Solr REST APIs. Let's see first web interface. If I go back to overview page, you see here it's showing now number of document that index is 4. This 4 is nothing but 4 records which we created earlier in database. It has also query interface. Using this query interface, we can search anything in Solr. It will search only within this core, whatever indexed. It has various parameters. I will not go through all of these parameters. I will go only few one. So the first is query star colon star. That means search everything. If I run execute query, it's showing all the 4 records which we index it. The another filter is FQ. FQ another filter query. Here we can filter specific data. Like for example, I want to search ID having value 3 only. So it's search. If I remove this, I want to search first name. Let's try that. First name having Steve. So it searched that. So similar way we can pass different filter criteria and we can search based on that. So this is web interface search. Similarly, if you see here, we have this one API call also. If I click on here, it's nothing but REST API search. So this will be helpful during if our client program want to interact with Solr server, we can use this URL. We can specify the host name, port number, Solr, then we can pass the core name where we want to search it, then select and question mark FQ. I'm using FQ query is a filter query. I'm passing first name is Steve and the final query. The same API we can call through any client, any Java client, web client, anything. So that way we can search it. So we have completed all the sections. So let's do some recap. What we have learned during this presentation. In this course, we have learned about Apache Solr, how we can install and run Apache Solr in local machine, and got hands-on experience how to import data in Solr from DB. And finally, we have learned about how we can index and search data in Solr. I hope you after going through this course, you have got excellent idea about Apache Solr. with practical experience. In future, I will add more technical session in this channel. Please subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching this. Have a nice day.